We're starting things off here at 7 o'clock with breaking news. The White House confirming WNBA basketball star Brittany Griner was released from a Russian prison.
So Griner was released from Russian custody in a prisoner swap. The Russians gave up Griner in exchange for Russian arms dealer Victor Bout, who was serving prison time in the U.S. Sources tell CBS News that the high-stakes swap happened today at a neutral location in the United Arab Emirates. Griner was sentenced to 9 years in Russian prison on drug charges after she allegedly brought in cannabis oil into Russian custody in February. She will now undergo a health check at a U.S. military base before returning to the U.S.
President Biden tweeting this out, that he had a phone call with Griner and her wife. And within the last hour, he said that he spoke with Griner and that she is on her way home. And about at 5:30, President Biden held a news conference along Griner's wife.
So over the last 9 months, you all have been so privy to one of the darkest moments of my life. And so today I'm just standing here overwhelmed with emotions, but the most important emotion that I have right now is just sincere gratitude.
President Biden says Griner will be back in the country within 24 hours. He added that he's continuing to work to release Paul Whelan from Russian prison as well. In 2018, Whelan was arrested in Russia for accusations of spying and sentenced to 16 years in prison.
Also breaking this morning, westbound I-90 is closed near Cle Elum. Snoqualmie Pass tweeted out a semi-truck crashed near the summit. Right now, there is no estimate on when things will reopen, but of course, we will let you know as soon as it does here on Up with KREM.
And heavy snow's impacting the Cascades right now, and we are expecting snowfall for the inland northwest later on today if it's not already falling in some areas of central Washington. Winter weather advisories kick in today and last until noon on Friday. Anywhere between 2 to 6 inches of snow expected across these regions, and Spokane fitting very nicely in the middle of that range, probably about 4 inches of snow during the afternoon and evening hours. Almost looks a lot brighter over Coeur d'Alene than it has the last couple mornings, and not nearly as foggy or misty or drizzly as it has been recently. Calm conditions at the moment, but that will definitely change in a big way later on today. So there is current Doppler radar past 3 hours or so, as a bit of light snow did just pass through Moses Lake and is approaching the Ritzville area right now. And the same story over Wilbur, where the light snow is falling currently and getting closer towards Davenport at the moment. This appears to be marching eastward, but it might still take several more hours before it arrives in the Spokane area. So I'm still pegging it around we'll call it 11 a.m. to a 1 p.m. start for snow in Spokane. But once it starts, it will snow quite heavily, especially for the afternoon and evening hours today. And coming up, I'll go even more in detail in terms of how much snow we can expect city by city. So look for that in a couple minutes.
Now, as we expect considerable snow today, Spokane County leaders spoke about their snow removal plans. They highlighted the new 26 snow gates that have been installed on graders ahead of the storm. Now, these gates are primarily used to keep the snow plowed in residential areas from spilling over into people's yards and even sidewalks.
Spokane County Commissioner Al French says the snow gates can cost anywhere from $10,000 to $12,000 each. So ahead of the storm, the Public Works Senior Director says crews have been keeping emergency routes and main arterials clear and applying liquid de-icer throughout the county. They will continue to work on them as the snow falls, which could delay cleanup efforts in neighborhoods.
We often get recurring events and constant refreshes, which makes us go back and focus again on those primary priority routes and keep those major arteries flowing, which can delay the time that we get into the residentials.
County officials are again reminding drivers to give plows enough space to work and to never pass on the right side of a plow or a grader. So we, of course, are used to this type of weather here in the inland northwest, but it's still so important to be prepared with snow on the way.
So here are some last-minute reminders as we get ready for this snow that's getting ready to fall. Now, dress as if you were going to be stranded. At the very least, keep a warm coat or a blanket in your car. Always open the garage door before starting your car. This prevents carbon monoxide buildup, which is extremely hazardous. Bring clearing supplies like a snow brush or ice scraper inside for easy access. And back into parking spaces if you can, so that it's just a little bit easier to leave and you won't have to worry about that back and forth backing out. And we all know how annoying it can be when you walk outside and you realize that your windshield wipers are frozen, so lift them up while you're not driving your car.
So another reminder, in the city of Spokane, Spokane Valley, and Coeur d'Alene, property owners are responsible for keeping their sidewalks clear and safe. Spokane also puts an emphasis on keeping accessibility ramps clear so those in a wheelchair or those who have other mobility needs can safely navigate through the winter season. And as we continue to cover our cold weather, be sure to watch up with KREM for the latest on the conditions. In the meantime, we have new information surrounding the murder investigation of 4 University of Idaho students, and it is the biggest development we've seen in weeks.
The Moscow Police Department just released the first potentially significant detail connected to the case. Take a look at these photos. Police say that they are looking for a white 2011, 2012, or 2013 Hyundai Elantra. These are stock images of the car, not the actual vehicle that they're looking for. Tips led police to believe that a car just like this one, though, was in the area when the murders happened. They also say the license plate number is unknown, but still, this is the biggest thing released to the public thus far. So if you have any information about this car or anything else regarding the investigation, contact the Moscow Police tip line at 208-883-7180. You can also send them an email at the email address that's there on your screen.
And this weekend, more than 550 University of Idaho students will graduate this Saturday at the university's winter commencement ceremony. The ceremonies begin at 9:30 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. No tickets are required, and it is free to attend on a first-come, first-served basis. You can watch the live stream on U of I's website.
Earlier this week, Spokane law enforcement started handing out these flyers to people living at the I-90 homeless encampment. The flyers announced that the camp will be closed and listed shelter resources. But now it's reignited the ongoing conflict between the city of Spokane and the state. So KREM 2's Nicole Hernandez is joining us live from the camp right now. So Nicole, can you tell us more about what the city plans on doing today?
So Channing, Spokane City Council is holding an executive session later today to talk about the legality of the flyers and the future of the homeless encampment here along I-90. Now, Spokane City Council actually sent out a letter yesterday, and in it, they questioned the actions of law enforcement. They were asking about the, quote, legality of this unauthorized notice of closure without providing adequate housing options and the fear that law enforcement will attempt an unconstitutional invasion of the property, end quote. Law enforcement continued to hand out flyers yesterday, but the owner of the land, WashDOT, says the city and the county are not being helpful.
It's just extremely disappointing. I mean, all this is doing is riling up people at the camp. We're making significant progress, but they continue to show up and put pressure, cause people to get upset, and it's not being helpful.
Again, that City Council executive session is happening today. It will be happening after an already scheduled special meeting that was planned for 11 this morning. In Spokane, Nicole Hernandez, KREM 2 News.
Well, the governor's office also responding on Twitter regarding the flyers being handed out at the homeless encampment. They tweeted, leaders who spend their energy on PR stunts that traumatize vulnerable people slow our work down and make it harder to bring those people inside. The people of Spokane and those at Camp Hope deserve serious solutions, and that's what our agencies remain focused on. And this continues to be a developing story. We'll keep you updated as soon as we learn more.
Just about 7:10 right now. Let's take a look at your morning rush. More news in less time. Spokane police are searching for at least 4 people following several robberies downtown. Police say 4 people first tried to rob someone on the footbridge at Riverfront Park around 6 p.m. yesterday. The victim was not injured, but 30 minutes later, another person was robbed in front of P.F. Chang's, this time by 2 people. Police at this time say they're not sure if the 2 incidents, though, are related. Well, I-90 eastbound is back open this morning after a 38-vehicle pileup in central Washington yesterday morning. We first brought you this as breaking news on Up with KREM. The freeway was shut down for 10 hours between Vantage and Kittitas. Some drivers did have minor injuries, and WashDOT says this was all caused by freezing fog that lowered visibility. The Washington Secretary of State certified the results of the 2022 midterm elections. More than 3.06 million voters cast their ballots. This was the first state midterm election since same-day registration began in 2019, and it's also this first election where people previously convicted of felonies were able to vote in the state. And that's a look at your morning rush.